Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jack from Manelli Studio Entertainment, and today I'm bringing you my pickups for the month of September. I'm not gonna lie to you folks, you can't see it right now, but I'm surrounded by books, comic books, DVDs, and of course Blu-rays and 4K UHD. I went a little crazy this month. I just got back from vacation. I went to Tampa, Florida, and there's a ton of great video stores there. Actually, 3, but two of them were really good. One of them was okay. I'll go into it when I go around. Plus all my random pickups I get throughout the month. I already showed a couple of my pickups. If you go back, I have a Star Wars pickups, and I have my Batman 4K set, the Tim Burton Schumacher films. I may go over that in this. If I do, it'll be brief. If you want to check those out, they'll be right here or down there or anywhere. With that being stated, I got a lot to get through, so here we go. So the way this is going to format is I'm going to try to go into a chronological order, like this is where I got here, there, and it's going to be a combination of everything. So first up, let's talk about Scott Pilgrim. Yes, I picked up all 6 of the volumes by Brian Lee O'Malley. I got this at a used bookstore for $3 a pop. I try not to talk too much about price, but I was pretty happy about this one, and it shows you that, you know, keep hunting, guys. You know, I've never read this, right? I've never read it. I've known about it since at least like volume 3 or 4. So I'm talking 20 years or something. I don't know. Close to 20 years, 15 years. I don't know exactly. And I just never got it because I always wanted to get a good deal. And I finally got a good deal. $3 a pop. You know, they're beaten up, right? But it's not too bad, and it's the inside that counts. And I haven't read these, I just flipped through them. And guys, the artwork is beautiful. Brian Lee O'Malley is amazing. It is kind of that faux manga style, but then it's also something really unique, and I like that. The brush strokes are very, very thin to thick, very much like Paul Pope, if you're into him. Which I love Paul Pope, and he also at the beginning had that faux manga style as well. But yeah, I've never read these. I'm gonna read these eventually one day, maybe in the next 3 years, and if I'm inclined, I'll let you know what I think about it. I love the film. The Edgar Wright film is one of my favorite films of all time, which, you know, adds to the insult to injury why I've never read this, but I got it now. That's all that matters. One of my other favorite stores is Ollie's. Good stuff for cheap. And they always have fantastic comic book deals, well less than half off. And I picked up 2 really great ones that I've always wanted. I got the Tom King Rorschach, the hardcover. And the one I was really excited for, I got the Jack Kirby, the Eternal Saga. You know, Jack Kirby, if you know anything about comic books, you know who Jack Kirby is. He's the king. And, you know, this is pretty controversial, but anything Tom King's write is controversial. But this, you know, taking a beloved character that's not the character, but kind of writing a story about a beloved character in a beloved universe would be controversial by anybody writing it, right? So, yeah, very excited about this. And next, again, this one will be very brief. I did get the Batman 4K set. I got a comment saying I didn't really unbox it, so let me just show it now. It comes with Batman Returns, Forever, and Robin. And I started watching these films. I watched Returns Batman and Returns. And I gotta say, I don't want to say too much because I'm working on a video, but I have had a really unique viewing experience, unique for myself, not for any of you. And I really don't want to tell you too much of my thoughts, but it was a very different experience watching these than I've ever have. Just critiquing the set real quick though, you know, they're not awful, but I don't love these covers. I just don't. I understand trying to make something new, and sometimes when you make something new, it's awful, but yeah, it's whatever. Yeah, I don't want to say it's whatever, but I didn't pay full price for it, so I'm not too mad. So, yeah, the covers aren't great. And I kind of love and not love that the Batman and Robin one doesn't have Robin on the cover. Just saying, kind of funny. But to go along with my Batman 4K set, I also got the DC Finest Batman Year 1 and Year 2 trade paperback. This is a wonderful trade paperback. It collects many issues from the year 1986 to 1987. And this is some of my favorite Batman stuff ever. Batman Year 1 is one of the best comics of all time. And the really cool thing with these DC Finest is it's the original coloring. I don't think a lot of people talk about that, but it's the original coloring for the Batman Year 1. And then there's the next volume after this is the Killing Joke volume. And those are the original colorings for the Killing Jokes as well, not the Brian Baldwin recolor. So these DC Finest is amazing. I picked this up on Batman Day. I love Batman. If you watch that video, it's my favorite superhero. And I got a confession to make. I probably own the issues in this particular volume at least twice. In issue format and in the graphic novel trade paperback format. But I had to get this. My favorite years of Batman is from this year, like 86, all the way to like 95, right? That's a great run on Batman. And after that was the No Man's Land and the New Gotham era. Not saying that's a bad era, but I just love this era in particular. You know, call me biased. It's where I started reading comics. So, yeah, if you haven't picked up these DC Finest, this Batman one's a great one for new readers. Of course, then I had my Star Wars pickups. I don't want to show them all right now, but, you know, here's a clip of it. And, you know, I picked up some Dark Horse stuff. And I got some new Dark Horse comics that you'll see later on today. I even contemplated making just a Star Wars update, but you know what? I'm just going to put it all in one video. So yeah, check out that Star Wars video if you want. I know you're all here for the movie stuff, but I'll get to the movie stuff later on, you know. I don't want to show everything now, you know. Get to this stuff to watch the movie stuff, okay? It's all really, all pop culture, all art. So I picked up a bunch of books this month, a book haul, from a bunch of different places, from another used bookstore and Barnes & Noble. So I bought this really cute edition of The Catcher in the Rye. Then I bought Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by Quentin Tarantino. I really like this edition. Again, it was at a used bookstore, so discounted. The Martian Chronicles. This is Ray Bradbury. The Stranger. And Vineland by Thomas Pynchon. Sorry. And I got this. I'm reading through Inherent Vice right now, and I'm really trying to get into Pynchon. Inherent Vice, as you all know, was made into a film by Paul Thomas Anderson, and his new film that's out, One Battle After Another, is supposedly inspired by this novel. And I read through half of the first chapter, and it's pretty amazing. I read it at the store, and I love it so far. It's hard to say love, but I really was enjoying my time reading what little I read. Highly recommend so far. I'm reading through Inherent Vice. It's really good as well, but I'm reading that, then maybe I'll go through this afterwards. But yeah, I'm a strong believer in reading. I got comic books, and I got novels, and reading anything as long as your reading is really important to me. But yeah, comment down below some of your books you bought this month. I love reading, and I hope you do too. Alright, now we will start looking at some 4Ks, Blu-rays, and DVDs. The first place I went to Tampa was this video store called Viper Video, and guys, girls, it's amazing. If you ever are in the Tampa Bay area and you're into this stuff, if you're watching this video, you gotta be into this stuff. Go to Viper Video. The guy's awesome. His name's Shelby, and he's very knowledgeable, but he has passion for this stuff, and the whole store has a great atmosphere. Great atmosphere. It has VHS tapes, DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks. I didn't see any laser discs, but there could be there. But the first day I was there, I couldn't, I could have bought the whole store, but I decided to go slow, and I bought just these 4 movies. I got Fullmetal Jacket, The Maltese Falcon, Fear and Desire, and The Taking of Palma. 1, 2, 3. These are all 4Ks, and 2 of them are Kubrick. One of them is a 1970s classic, and one of them is the birth of the film noir. Fullmetal Jacket is a great movie. Has the best first 45 minutes to a film maybe ever. Taking a Palma 1, 2, 3. Such a quintessential New York heist film. Inspires Quentin Tarantino, inspires almost anything after it that's involving heist, and Robert Duvall and what's his name, Walter Matthau, such amazing actors, and it's a beautiful looking film too. And I don't really have a lot to say about Fear and Desire. It's Kubrick's first film, and I haven't seen it. This comes with both cuts and 3 short films by him, so I'm very excited about this. I don't know if this is the most excited thing I got, but I was super excited when I saw it. I picked it up. I was like, this is one I'm going home with right now. I could not risk someone coming in the store and buying it. But yeah, and I, Maltese Falcon, again, Humphrey Bogart, some of the most famous actors ever are in this film. Peter Lorre, famous ending. This is the things dreams are made out of. Dashiell Hammett. This is film noir, hard-boiled, at his finest. John Huston. This is John Huston's first film, first directorial debut right here. And, he had a long line of films afterwards. Treasure of the Sierra Madre, Fat City in the 70s, The Dead in the 80s. Like, this guy's career just soared, and it all started here. But yeah, great pickups. And I will be going back to Viper's Video in this video and later on in my life. Next up, I went to this place called Sound Exchange. There's 2 of them. This is the one that's in the St. Petersburg area, and I picked up one holy grail for myself, and one thing that's really cool that I was looking for. So the thing that was really cool that I was looking for, which is this Star Wars The Complete Saga, because there's no movies after this, right? That was a joke. I was so happy to find this. I own the originals in Blu-ray, but now this is, also the prequels. And I have Disney Plus, but I don't like commercials. So, I bought this. It was a good deal. A little beaten up, but great set. Comes with so many things. Comes with the films. I'm not going to go through all of them, but also has these bonus discs that, look at that. Jon Favreau, where's this? Come on. Great artwork in this, and I always thought George was trolling people when he's put Jar Jar right there. I always thought he was trolling people. But, it's his work. He could do whatever he wants. Doesn't matter what we think, right? But this is a great set. Blu-ray. I was contemplating getting the new Blu-rays for the prequels, but then I found this, so I picked this up. And then the one that was a holy grail that as soon as I saw, I'm like, I can leave as long as I get this. And this is True Detective Season 1 on Blu-ray. I've been looking for this for about, I don't know, 6-7 years. And as soon as I found it, and it was in the wrong spot, it was in the DVD section. I was gonna buy it on DVD, and I hate DVDs. I love this. This is one of my favorite shows of all time. This season in particular, I've seen season 2 and it was okay, but by the time I got to season 3, season 2 kind of defeated me, right? It was just okay. And season 3, I just was so, I just never went back, and I haven't seen the new show as well. But this one was, when this was out, it took over basically the internet, this and Breaking Bad, and yeah, I've seen the show probably a couple times, but now I own it on Blu-ray, so I'm extremely happy. So yeah, Sound Exchange, I'll be talking about them later. I went to this great little breakfast place called the Oxford Academy, and I got a book there. There's a bookstore. I got the works of H.P. Lovecraft, the Cthulhu mythos. This is a beautiful book. A bunch of short stories that, just to name a few. It has the Call of Cthulhu, and it also has In the Mouth of Madness. Those are the only 2 I know. But, it's a beautiful edition. I couldn't just leave it there. And I'm getting into short fiction, like, short story fiction. And this is it. So there was this other used bookstore in the St. Petersburg area. I don't remember what it's called, but I picked up comic book Ice Haven by Daniel Clowes. If you don't know who Daniel Clowes is, he did the comic book version, or the original, of Ghost World, and he did the screenplay as well. An Artist in the Floating World by Kazuo Ishiguro. This was a pretty beat up copy, but it's Ishiguro. And something really cool, more from my Star Wars collection, the Star Wars, The Adventures of Luke Skywalker. This is, episode 4, of course, and if you didn't know, this book was released about 5 months before the film came out. This copy itself was printed in December of 77, August of 77, so after the film came out. So, and I really want to read this. It says George Lucas wrote it, but he really had another guy helping him. So, really interesting stuff. So now I'm going back to Sound Exchange, and I did go to one in, I don't know the area, but I didn't really like it so much. It's the second store. It had a lot more stuff, actually, a lot more films, but it was just a little too expensive. So I went back to the other store, and I actually sold them a bunch of films. Got a good chunk for them, and I got this stuff. I got Day of the Dead, George A. Romero, Phantom of the Paradise, Brian De Palma, The Counselor, Ridley Scott. This is a really cool one. Someone's Watching Me, the film before Halloween, John Carpenter. I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna butcher this name. Cosmopolisis, Robert Pattinson and David Cronenberg, and the one I was so excited about when I went there the second time. If I saw this the first time, I would have picked it up. Near Dark, Catherine Bigelow's Near Dark. And as you can see, it's the cover that they released to trick girls into buying this during Twilight. So Norma, your name's written all over here. Norma, I'm sorry you or a loved one bought this for you thinking it was Twilight. It is not. But yeah, this is Catherine Bigelow. It's like a Western vampire film. It's amazing. It's the rival to Joel Schumacher's Lost Boys. And just to comment on the other ones a little, Day of the Dead, the third of the original Dead trilogy. This one's pretty good. I'll comment more on that later. Phantom of the Paradise. It's a Brian De Palma musical that's a spoof, kind of a spoof on the Phantom of the Phantom of the Opera? Yeah. You know, I hear some people say this is their favorite De Palma. I don't know. I haven't seen it. The Counselor and Cosmopolis, I bought these because, well, they're both pretty literary. The Counselor, which is directed by Ridley Scott, but the screenplay is by Cormac McCarthy from No Country for Old Men, The Road, All the Pretty Horses, and Cosmopolis is, well, it's written by David Cronenberg, but the original novel is Don DeLillo, who is like the best living American author. So I kind of like think this as like a double feature of like, you know, of literary films. I could be totally wrong. I haven't seen any of these, and quite frankly, I haven't heard anything about these. But they both have a good cast. You know, Robert Pattinson. You know, talk about Twilight. You know what? The man's done good since then. And this has, you know, Michael Fassbender, Penelope Cruz, Cameron Diaz, Javier Bardem, and Brad Pitt. Directed by Ridley Scott. Written by Cormac McCarthy. I really don't know how this can be bad. But I never hear people talk about it. So it could be bad. And this comes with the unrated extended cut. And then let's finish this off. Someone's watching me. Like I said, this is a proto Halloween. So that was all what I got at Sound Exchange. Again, I didn't take any video because I was just too nervous. Because I was like a fish out of water. But I love the place. The one in St. Petersburg was amazing. You should go check it out if you're there. Yeah, they're a little used, but you know what? A deal's a deal. And I'll tell you a little story when I was there. The first thing I looked at was their Region B stuff. And the first one I looked at, and I don't have a Region B player, so I don't even know why I'm looking, was the film Manhunter. Michael Mann's Manhunter. The first adaptation of Red Dragon, the Hannibal Lecter saga, which I don't think it was at the time, but Red Dragon, first adaptation, one of my favorite films. Alright? I love that film to death. I may like it more than Silence of the Lamb. They had it there. Region B. Steelbook. I almost wish I just bought it for principle. We're almost done. We're almost done. So I went to another used bookstore that also sells movies, and I found some stuff that's pretty amazing. So the first thing I found was a DVD, and if you know anything about me, I hate DVDs. I hate them. But I bought this. Why? Because this is Hard 8. Paul Thomas Anderson's first film. Second time I'm name dropping him in today's video. And this is his first film. And it's a good film. It's a film about, Sidney, who is Walter Matthau, helping out John C. Reilly, who is kind of this down on his luck guy, and he teaches him how to gamble. It's kind of like a fatherly thing. For a first film, you know what, scratch that. For any film, it's a good film. It's a good film, and I'm happy I bought it. Now, the question is, will I ever watch this version? Probably not. I own it digitally. I put this in my PlayStation, and I put it up, and it was blurry. Then I put up on my Apple TV the digital one, and it was clean, and I just laughed. It has some pretty good special features. The Sundance Institute filmmaking lab scenes, so some scenes with the actors, like, you know, practicing their scenes, so good for anthropological reasons. And 2 filmmaker commentaries, and it's double disc, so there's a widescreen and there's a full screen. So yeah, this is a novelty pickup. And then I found, for some anime fans, could be the Holy Grail. For me, it wasn't. I just really wanted to have it. And that is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, all 5 parts on Blu-ray. Part 1, 2, 3, 4, and you've seen this one already, 5. Now you're probably asking yourself, Jack, why did you get this? This is streaming everywhere. It's on Netflix. It's on Crunchyroll. You know what? You're right. You're right. But then I counter offer you saying, well, why did I buy any of this stuff? All this stuff I can probably find streaming or otherwise. I buy it because I want to, and you know what? This series is important. If you like it or not, it's an important series. It's really hard to find, right? And I got these for a good price, right? It's really hard to find. I know I haven't uploaded my anime collection yet, and I'm working on it, but I own the original series, and I bought that because I love it, and I bought it the day I heard Funimation lost the rights. And I didn't do it the same for Brotherhood, but now I got it. I like Brotherhood. I don't love it, but maybe now, since I own it, I'll have to love it a little better. Maybe so. Another break. How you guys doing again? And I gotta say thank you for watching this. You know, I deeply appreciate this, and you know, you taking your time and watching me talk about the stuff I got, and hopefully you find some enjoyment out of this. I know I do. I love talking to you guys. I love talking about our favorite movies, you know, talk about books, talk about comics. I just love talking about you guys, and if you guys love this type of stuff, you know, films, reviews, comic books, and books, hit that thumbs up if you like coffee as well. All right, time for the crazy stuff. I went back to that Viper video, and I picked up these babies right here. I got the 4K Dawn of the Dead. Woo. This baby is beautiful, I tell you, and it comes with the 3 cuts, the theatrical, the extended, and the Argento cut. Now, that bonus disc is region B, which I've already stated I don't have, but you know, the movies themselves are amazing, and the Viper did have the Blu-ray of this, and it had the DVDs of this, but this was only like $10 more. So I'm like, you know, for better quality, just get this. So I'm really happy. I've never seen this. I've seen Day of the Dead. I've seen Night of the Dead. I've not seen Dawn of the Dead. So I'm really excited about this. And I've been getting into Romero's work recently. I've watched Martin, which I believe was phenomenal. And I watched The Crazies, which again was an amazing film. I think George Romero is an amazing director. But yeah, I love this. Of course, I've seen scenes. I've seen the remake by Zack Snyder, but this is different. So up here. So yeah, I'm gonna tear open to this pretty soon. I guess it's only fitting I talk about Zombie next, the unofficial sequel to Dawn of the Dead. Again, I haven't seen this. So yeah, but I hear it's good. Let's go one more blind buy. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Again, I've never seen this, and I'm like, you know, it's time. I gotta watch these kind of independent cinema from the 70s in 4K. You know, I kid, but you know, this is a film I've always wanted to see. It never goes on sale. And just to say, the stores had this. All the stores I went to, they had the Blu-ray, and it was basically the same price as this 4K. I did get a used copy, but you know, I'm gonna go for the better medium, right? And this is the Dark Star release, and they had the other one, but you know, I just, you know, I gotta get cheap somehow, you know. So yeah, I got this. Got a cool slipcase with the cover right there. I can't wait to really get into this. And finally, I got Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. You know, masterpieces, right? Sam Raimi and company coming swinging with the Evil Dead here. and then a few years later coming out with The Evil Dead 2, reinventing the horror genre and filmmaking in general. Like, when you watch this, like, why doesn't everything look like this? You know, Sam Raimi, you know, despite what anyone says about you, you did a great job. And these are 2 films I love. These were 2 upgrades, actually. I have these on Blu-ray, and now I have to sell those. But yeah, and they had Army of Darkness, but I opt out not to get them, just to get these. Of course, we're getting ready to go in the spooky season, so I'm stockpiling up on my horror movies. If you had noticed in my past couple hauls, my one from July, I got a bunch of horror movies, you know, like The Shining, The Thing on 4K. So I've been stockpiling my 4K horror because for some reason in my brain, I said to myself, I want to get all the quintessential horror movies on 4K. So that means I still have a bunch I need to get, like The Exorcist, Alien, Psycho, Suspiria. Yeah, I can't really think of any more. But if you comment down below, what are the quintessential horror films in your mind? So I said that was the last thing, but I lied. I got 2 more set of comic books that I need to show you before I can call this quits. So first up, I got this little horror comic called Spread. It's 5 volumes. Here's volume 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I don't know much about this series, but when I brought it up to the counter, the comic book guy said, this is a great series. So, it gotta be great, right? That's the comic book guy said. It's a, you know, it's a horror book, as you can tell. So, yeah. And the last thing is actually, you know, it may be my most exciting thing I picked up this whole month, and that is the entire Star Wars, the Clone Wars collection. Volume 1, 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I was so excited when I saw these. I was gonna pick them up anyway. First, when I was looking through the bins, I saw like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Picked them up. They weren't half off, but pretty close. But then when I saw volume 1, 2, I was like, I gotta get them. Right? I was gonna leave that store without them. I wasn't gonna leave. So these books are really out of print. If you're in the Star Wars game, you know that. There's the Omnibuys coming out. I think they're coming. I don't think they're coming out actually, but there's the Epic collections. But I think some of the Epic collections are out of print. I love it. If you watched my Star Wars update, you saw that I picked up the Quinlan Vos omnibus. So this picks up right after that. So all I need to read is the Quinlan Vos stuff and then go here. So I'm so happy, guys. You know, this was awesome. Well, there's no way I'll be holding up everything here, but here it is in all its glory. This was a crazy month for me of picking up stuff. And do I regret it? No, I never regret it. But you do have to slow down sometimes, so probably in October I will buy a lot less, even though a Prime Day sale will happen, even though Barnes & Noble and Amazon are having a Kino Lorber sale. It seems like every month Barnes & Noble is having some type of sale. Is it me? You know, the milk crate sale is still going on. So like, yeah, I don't know. And maybe comment down below, let me know what that is. Is it always happening like that? I don't know. But guys, this was fun. This was really fun. I had a great time. I want to thank you again for coming out here and supporting and watching this video to the end. I love talking about films. I got a couple reviews in the pipeline, a couple recommendations. I already did a review on Things to Do Endeavor When You're Dead. I love the film. And I got a couple more reviews coming out soon, like on the Shinobi trilogy and on Taking a Palin 1, 2, 3. And of course, collection video updates forever. But yeah, guys, I just, I don't know, I now I'm a broken record, but thank you all for watching, and I don't know how long this video is, but I'm sure it's pretty long, and it's just me rambling. So with that being said, I'm going to say thank you again, and I am Jack from Manelli Studio Entertainment, signing off saying, watch more movies. Bye.